Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm Emma.
And I'm Jack. Today we're talking about something very simple, but also something that can be surprisingly difficult when you're learning English.
Ordering coffee.
Exactly, you walk into a cafe, you know what coffee you want, but suddenly the person behind the counter starts asking questions.
What size?
For here or to go?
What kind of milk?
Anything else?
And you're standing there thinking, wait, I only came here for a coffee.
Right, and that's why today's episode isn't just going to teach you a few coffee words. We're going to take you through the whole experience, from walking into a cafe to paying, finding a seat, and dealing with those little unexpected moments that can happen.
And we're going to start with a real conversation. Don't worry about understanding every word the first time. Just listen to the situation and see what you can catch.
Imagine you're walking into a cafe on a Monday morning. You're tired, you're running a little late, and you really need coffee.
That sounds very realistic.
For some people, that's not imagination. That's their actual morning.
All right, let's go.
Hi there.
Good morning, what can I get for you?
Hi, can I get a latte, please?
Sure, what size would you like?
Medium, please.
And would you like that for here or to go?
To go, please.
No problem, what kind of milk would you like?
Regular milk is fine.
All right, anything else?
Yeah, actually, could I get a blueberry muffin as well?
Sure, would you like it warmed up?
Yes, please, that would be great.
No problem, so that's one medium latte with regular milk and one blueberry muffin warmed up.
That's right.
That'll be £8 and 20 pence.
Here you go.
Thank you, you can wait over there and we'll call your name when it's ready.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
All right, that's a pretty normal cafe conversation.
Very normal, and notice that I didn't say, what coffee do you want?
You said, what can I get for you?
Right, that's one of the first expressions I want listeners to get used to.
Because if you're learning English, you might hear, what can I get for you? And wonder why the person is asking what they can get.
It simply means, what would you like to order?
So when you're the customer, you don't need to wait for the exact question, what would you like?
No, you can just answer naturally.
Can I get a latte, please?
I'd like a latte, please.
I'll have a latte, please.
All three work.
And this is where English can become confusing for learners. You learn one correct sentence, and then you go into a real cafe and hear 5 different versions.
Exactly, so let's slow this down.
If I say I want a latte, is that wrong?
No, it's understandable and grammatically it's fine, but in a cafe, I want a latte can sound a little direct.
So what would you use instead?
I'd probably say, can I get a latte, please? It's very natural in everyday conversation.
And I'd like a latte, please, is also good.
Yes, that's slightly more polite or neutral.
What about I'll have a latte?
That's natural too, especially when you're choosing from a menu.
So imagine the person asks, what would you like?
You could say, I'll have the chicken sandwich.
Or I'll have a cappuccino.
Exactly.
But there's another important thing here. You don't need to make every sentence sound extremely formal.
That's a really good point. Sometimes learners think they need to say something like, I would like to order one medium-sized latte with regular milk, please.
Which is perfectly understandable.
But it sounds more complicated than necessary.
You can just say, can I get a medium latte, please?
Simple, natural, easy.
And then the barista may ask you another question.
What size?
This sounds easy, but there's something learners should know. Different cafes may use different names for sizes.
You might hear small, medium, and large.
Or you might see names that are specific to that cafe.
So don't worry if the size names aren't exactly what you expected.
If the person says, what size would you like? You can simply say, small, please.
Or medium, please.
Or large, please.
And if you're not sure about the sizes,
You can ask.
you could say, what sizes do you have?
That's useful.
Or what size is this?
Especially if you're pointing at something on the menu.
Right.
Now let's talk about one of the questions that catches people off guard.
For here or to go?
This is extremely common.
If you're in the UK, you may also hear eat in or take away.
And in American English, for here or to go is very common.
Different wording, same basic idea.
So if you're staying in the cafe, you can say,
For here, please.
and if you're leaving with the coffee,
To go, please.
or in the UK,
Take away, please.
you don't need a long answer.
No, just for here, please.
Or to go, please.
One thing I want to point out is that to go doesn't mean you're physically going somewhere right now.
It means you're taking the food or drink away instead of consuming it there.
So if someone says, is that for here or to go?
They're asking whether you're staying or taking it with you.
Now let's go back to our order.
I ordered a latte with regular milk.
And this is where another part of ordering coffee can get interesting.
Milk.
You may be asked what kind of milk you want.
Regular milks.
Oat milk,
Soy milk.
almond milk.
And depending on the cafe, there may be several other choices.
If you don't have a preference, you can say, regular milk is fine.
That's exactly what I said in our conversation.
And notice the word fine.
Some learners only learn fine as an answer to how are you.
But fine can also mean acceptable or that works for me.
So if the barista says, would you like oat milk?
And you don't mind, you can say, that's fine.
Or that's fine, thanks.
If you specifically want oat milk, just say, oat milk, please.
No complicated sentence required.
And now we get to customization.
This is where things can get a little more complicated.
You might want less sugar,
No sugar.
extra hot,
An extra shot.
decaf,
Less ice.
no whipped cream.
Or maybe you want your drink with a particular kind of milk.
Let's take one example.
Can I get a medium latte with oat milk, please?
Sure,
And could you make it extra hot?
of course.
That's a very useful structure.
Could you make it?
Could you make it extra hot?
Could you make it less sweet?
Could you make it decaf?
Although for some changes, we'd use a different structure.
For example, can I get an extra shot?
Right.
Can I get an extra shot?
That's one of those phrases worth remembering as a whole.
Not because the grammar is difficult.
But because real communication often works like that, you don't build every sentence from grammar rules in your head.
You remember useful patterns.
Can I get?
Could I get?
I'd like.
I'll have.
Would you like?
And then you change the important information.
Can I get a latte?
Can I get a sandwich?
Can I get an extra shot?
Can I get a bottle of waters?
Same structure, different situation.
Now there's something else that happens in cafes that learners don't always prepare for.
The barista asks a question you didn't expect.
Let's do one.
All right.
Hi, can I get a cappuccino, please?
Sure, what size?
Medium.
What kind of milk?
Regulars.
Would you like anything to eat?
Oh, does no, I'm okay.
That's fine.
And now I'm standing there thinking, why did I suddenly forget how to speak English?
That happens.
especially when you understand the words individually but don't expect the question.
That's why listening practice is just as important as speaking practice.
Because knowing the vocabulary isn't enough.
You need to become familiar with the sequence.
Order the drink.
Choose the size.
Choose the milk.
Choose whether you're staying or leaving.
Maybe order food.
Then pay.
And finally, wait for your order.
Once you've experienced that sequence a few times, it becomes much easier.
Let's talk about another very common moment.
When the person doesn't hear you.
This happens to everyone,
Even native speakers.
especially when the cafe is busy.
So imagine I say,
Can I get an oat milk latte, please?
sorry.
An oat milk latte.
Sorry, what was that?
Oat milk latte.
Oh, got it.
Notice what I didn't do.
You didn't panic.
I didn't suddenly start speaking perfect English at twice the speed.
You just repeated the important part.
Exactly.
And that's a very important communication skill.
If someone doesn't understand you, you don't always need to explain the entire sentence again.
Sometimes just repeat the key information.
Oat milk.
Medium.
2 coffees.
For here.
Simple.
Another useful phrase is, sorry, could you say that again?
Very useful.
Or sorry, I didn't catch that.
I like that one because I didn't catch that doesn't mean you physically failed to catch something.
Right? It means you didn't hear or understand what someone said.
So if the barista speaks quickly,
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
could you say that again?
That's completely normal.
You don't need to pretend you understood.
That's actually something I wish more language learners felt comfortable doing.
Asking people to repeat themselves.
Yes, some learners think it's embarrassing.
But communication isn't about understanding every word the first time.
It's about knowing what to do when you don't understand.
That's a much more useful skill.
Let's imagine another situation.
Okay.
You've ordered a latte, but then you suddenly remember you wanted an Americano.
A terrible mistake.
A serious coffee emergency.
All right.
What would you say?
Excuse me, sorry. Could I change that to an Americano?
Perfect.
Or,
Sorry, could I change my order?
and then explain what you want.
Right.
This is useful because sometimes learners think once they've said their order, it's impossible to change it.
Not at all. If they've already started making it, they may not be able to change it, but you can always ask politely.
Could I change that too?
That's a really useful phrase beyond cafes too.
Could I change that to Friday?
Could I change that to a different size?
Could I change my appointment?
Same basic structure.
And then there's food.
Let's say I order a muffin.
You could say, can I get a blueberry muffin, please?
And the person might ask, would you like it warmed up?
If you want it warm.
Yes, please.
If you don't.
No, thanks.
What if you don't understand warmed up?
You can ask, do you mean heated?
Or simply, sorry.
Exactly.
You don't need to be afraid of asking.
Now let's talk about something that seems small but makes a big difference. Please and thanks.
You don't need to put please after every single word.
Right.
But when you're making a request, adding please makes the sentence sound more polite.
Can I get a latte, please?
Could I get a latte, please?
And after the person helps you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Simple.
Another thing worth noticing is that native speakers often shorten things.
For example, instead of saying, I would like to have a medium latte, someone might simply say,
Medium latte, please.
exactly.
But I wouldn't recommend that as your first thing to learn.
Why not?
Because beginners sometimes copy short phrases without understanding the situation.
So they might say, medium latte.
And although the barista will probably understand, "Can I get a medium latte, please?" gives you a much more reliable sentence.
Then as you become more comfortable, you naturally start shortening things.
That's the progression I like.
First, learn useful complete sentences.
Then become more flexible.
Don't try to sound like a native speaker from day one.
Try to communicate clearly.
That's a much better goal.
Now let's do another complete conversation, but this time I'm going to make the cafe a little busier.
So we're adding some pressure.
A little.
Okay.
Ready?
Ready.
Hi there, what can I get for you?
Hi, can I get a large Americano, please?
Sure, would you like that hot or iced?
Iced, please.
No problem, what kind of milk?
No milk, thanks.
All right, anything else?
Actually, can I get a chocolate chip cookie?
Sure, would you like that warmed up?
No, that's okay.
All right, is that for here or to go?
For here, please.
No problem, that'll be £7 and 40 pence.
Can I pay by card?
Of course.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
That was faster.
And that's what real cafe conversations are often like.
Short.
Fast.
And sometimes the questions come one after another.
Which is why you don't want to memorize a giant paragraph.
You want to be ready for individual questions.
What size would you like?
Medium, please.
Hot or iced?
Iced, please.
What kind of milk?
Oat milk, please.
For here or to go?
To go, please.
Anything else?
No, that's all, thanks.
That's enough.
You don't need to give a speech.
Now let's look at that's all.
Very useful.
If someone asks anything else,
You can say no, that's all, thanks.
or simply,
That's all, thanks.
it means you don't want to order anything else.
And it sounds natural.
What if you do want something else?
You can say, actually, could I also get?
That's a great phrase.
Actually, could I also get a bottle of water?
Actually, could I also get a cookie?
Actually, could I also get another coffee?
That little word actually is useful because it signals that you're adding something you hadn't mentioned before.
And it doesn't have to sound formal.
Not at all.
Let's say I've already finished ordering.
Anything else?
No, that's all.
And then you suddenly remember your friend asked you to get them a tea.
Actually, could I also get a black tea?
Perfect.
Now here's another real-life problem.
Your coffee order is wrong.
This happens.
You ordered oat milk, but you got regular milk.
What should you say?
You don't need to say, "You gave me the wrong coffee."
Which sounds pretty direct.
You could say, "Excuse me, I ordered this with oat milk."
That's polite but clear.
Or, "Sorry, I asked for oat milk."
That's another good one.
And if you want them to fix it.
Could you make it with oat milk, please?
Exactly.
The important thing is that you're explaining the problem rather than attacking the person.
That's useful communication in almost any situation.
Not just cafes.
Right.
Now I want to talk about something that isn't really a grammar point.
Go on.
Confidence.
That's a big one.
A lot of learners know what they want to say before they walk into a cafe.
But once they get to the counter, they start translating every word in their head.
Coffee.
Milk,
Size.
price,
And then someone asks them a question they didn't expect.
and everything disappears.
So here's what I'd recommend.
Don't memorize one perfect conversation.
Instead, learn the building blocks.
Can I get?
I'd like.
I'll have.
What size?
What kind of milk?
For here or to go.
Anything else?
That's all.
Could I change that too?
Could you say that again?
I didn't catch that.
Those expressions give you a framework,
Then you fill in the details.
and the details change every time.
That's how real communication works.
Let's do one final challenge.
This time you're the customer,
I'm the barista.
and we're going to make it a little harder.
All right.
Imagine you've just walked into a cafe. You want a medium iced latte with oat milk. You're staying in the cafe and you'd also like a blueberry muffin.
I'll start. Good morning, what can I get for you?
Pause here.
Your answer could be,
Can I get a medium iced latte with oat milk, please?
then I'll ask, would you like that for here or to go?
Your answer.
For here, please.
Then,
Anything else?
your answer.
Yes, could I also get a blueberry muffin, please?
And then I might ask,
Would you like it warmed up?
if you do, say.
Yes, please.
If you don't.
No, thanks.
And then,
That'll be £8.50.
and you're ready to pay.
Easy.
Now let's make it slightly harder.
You want to order a decaf coffee, but you don't know whether they have it.
You could ask,
Do you have decaf?
very simple,
Or,
is decaf available?
but do you have decaf is probably the easiest one for everyday conversation.
Now another situation.
You want oat milk, but you're not sure if there's an extra charge.
You could ask,
Is there an extra charge for oat milk?
or more casually,
Does oat milk cost extra?
both work.
And another one's.
You ordered a hot drink, but you actually wanted it iced.
Excuse me, could I change that to iced?
Great.
One more.
The barista speaks too quickly.
Sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you say that again?
Perfect.
And that last one might be one of the most important expressions in today's episode.
I agree.
Because your goal isn't to understand every sentence perfectly.
Your goal is to keep the conversation going.
If you don't understand, ask.
If you make a mistake, correct it.
If you forget a word, use a simpler word.
And if someone doesn't understand you, try again.
That's communication.
Not perfection.
And honestly, ordering coffee is a great place to practice because the situation is predictable.
You know roughly what questions are coming,
You know the vocabulary.
and you can repeat the experience again and again.
So the next time you go into an English-speaking cafe, don't try to impress anyone with complicated English.
Just try to have a normal conversation.
Walk up to the counter.
Say hello.
Order your drink.
Answer the questions.
Ask for clarification if you need it.
And say thank you.
That's it.
Before we finish, let's quickly review the expressions from today's episode.
Can I get a latte, please?
I'd like a latte, please.
I'll have a latte, please.
What size would you like?
For here or to go.
What kind of milk would you like?
Anything else?
That's all, thanks.
Could I also get?
Could I change that too?
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Could you say that again?
And remember, you don't need to memorize all of them today.
Choose 3 or 4 that feel useful to you.
Then say them out loud.
Not just in your head.
Because there's a big difference between recognizing an English sentence and being able to say it when someone is standing in front of you.
That's the part that takes practice.
And that's what we're here for.
So next time you're at a cafe, give it a try.
Even if you make a small mistake.
Especially if you make a small mistake.
Because that's how you get better.
Thanks for spending some time with us today.
And we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye everyone.
See you next time.